rainfall not seen in a century. Temperatures never recorded in the history of meteorological observations. Tornadoes wiping towns off the map. Another blow from nature day after day. Argentina, Italy, Russia, the United States, France. This isn't just a summary of 1 week. It's a preface to the future. But why does humanity so stubbornly turn away from the global threat looming over it? Today, you will find out the reason behind this inaction. USA.
Right straight in ahead of us.
A system of powerful storms swept through the central and eastern regions of the United States, triggering the formation of several dozen tornadoes. The hardest hit was the state of Kentucky, where the disaster claimed the lives of 23 people, most of whom died in Laurel County. At night, while residents were asleep, a powerful EF3 tornado swept through the southern part of London, devastating neighborhoods, destroying blocks, mangling cars, and scattering debris for hundreds of meters. Eyewitnesses who took shelter in corridors and basements during the storm compared the city to a war zone. At London Corben Airport, the tornado damaged several planes and completely destroyed a medical helicopter. Another strong EF3 tornado struck the major city of St. Louis, Missouri. The vortex, about 1.5 kilometers wide with winds exceeding 240 kilometers per hour, tore through urban areas, destroying everything in its path. The tornado damaged over 5,000 buildings. The mayor described it as one of the most destructive storms in the city's history. 5 people died, and 38 were injured.
Just south of Benton, crossing I-55.
In Illinois, a powerful EF4 tornado with winds exceeding 300 kilometers per hour struck Williamson County. Since the storm mostly passed through forested and sparsely populated areas, the damage was minimal. The tornado also affected Baltimore, a major port city and economic center of Maryland. An EF1 tornado with winds up to 180 kilometers per hour swept through densely populated neighborhoods, leaving a path of destruction nearly 9.5 kilometers long. Such events are extremely rare on the U.S. East Coast, especially in large cities. The storm system was also accompanied by unusually large hail, in some places up to 10 centimeters in diameter, affecting areas from Texas to Ohio. Chicago experienced a rare dust storm. A thick wall of dust, whipped up by strong winds from the dried-out fields of Illinois, rapidly engulfed the city. Within minutes, the sky darkened and visibility dropped to almost zero. Such an event had not been seen in the city for nearly 90 years. Russia. In Russia, powerful wildfires continue to ravage the Transbaikalia region, where a federal-level state of emergency has been in effect for nearly a month. As of May 20th, the area affected by the fires has exceeded 670,000 hectares. The fire front has approached Chita, the capital of Zabaikalsky Krai. The entire region is shrouded in thick smoke. The air is heavy with the smell of burning, and the sky is obscured by a dense gray haze. This is the reality that hundreds of thousands of people in Transbaikalia are living in today. Nearly 2,000 firefighters from various parts of Russia, along with a large fleet of equipment, including aircraft, have been deployed to the region to combat the flames. However, efforts to contain the fire have so far been unsuccessful, hindered by rugged terrain, strong gusty winds, and a complete lack of rainfall for over a month. In just 50 days, the blaze has consumed more than 1.27 million hectares, nearly 20 times more than during the same period last year. And this is only the beginning of the fire season. France.
L'orage a été fulgurant.
On May 14th, an emergency incident occurred at the Les Barbens Zoo, located in the southeast of France. During a sudden thunderstorm, lightning struck the ground near a group of visitors. As a result of the electric discharge, 13 people were injured. One woman was taken to the hospital in critical condition. The other 12, including 4 children, were also hospitalized. On May 19th, powerful storms hit the Occitanie region. In Toulouse, after an intense thunderstorm, several schools were forced to close for several days due to damaged roofs and flooding. Students were urgently evacuated. As a result of the storm, rail service in the region was disrupted. A sinkhole about 2 meters deep formed beneath the tracks on the high-speed Bordeaux-Toulouse route. A tragedy was narrowly avoided thanks to the swift reaction of the train driver, who managed to stop the train in time, though several cars still derailed. The evacuation of all 508 passengers took place only 4 hours later. Service between Toulouse, Bordeaux, and Paris on the high-speed line was completely suspended for several days. In the town of Tonins, dozens of homes were flooded. According to local residents, while floods have occurred in the area before, no one can recall one of this scale. Preliminary estimates point to potential damages amounting to hundreds of thousands of euros. The storm brought with it large hail, reaching up to 7 centimeters in diameter in some areas. Massive hailstones blanketed the A64 motorway south of Toulouse, bringing traffic to a complete standstill. In just 20 minutes, powerful hail in the commune of Le Fauga destroyed the results of years of work. One of the oldest nurseries in France, Beauduc, with a history spanning over 200 years, suffered severe losses, with nearly all plants damaged. In the Lot-et-Garonne department, powerful mudflows wiped out sunflower, corn, and soybean crops. The renowned vineyards of Armagnac and Toursan also sustained significant damage. That day, more than 22,600 lightning strikes were recorded across France. On May 20th, extremely powerful storms struck the Var department in the Provence region, leading to deadly floods in several towns. In just 1 hour, the commune of Les Lavandous was hit with more than 5 months' worth of rainfall, 255 millimeters of rain. Roads were washed out and bridges were swept away by the torrents. The mayor described the event as a furious, violent, incomprehensible phenomenon. At least 3 people died, and 3 more remain missing. Italy. On May 15th, Sicily came under the grip of Cyclone Inez. Torrential rain, hurricane-force winds exceeding 100 kilometers per hour, and powerful storm surges swept across much of the region. In the province of Trapani, more than 7,000 lightning strikes were recorded within just a few hours. In Marsala, streets turned into raging streams in a matter of minutes, bringing all traffic to a complete halt. In the commune of Mazzara del Vaglio, the roof of a residential building collapsed. Fortunately, no casualties were reported. The municipality of Palma di Montechiaro was hit by a sudden and extremely strong downdraft, a powerful microburst that caused significant destruction. As the storm raged on for several consecutive hours, the capital of Sicily, Palermo, was also flooded. All train services on the Messina-Palermo line were cancelled. In the commune of Trabia, torrential rain quickly turned the streets into rushing streams. A young woman was trapped inside a flooded car and couldn't get out on her own. Fortunately, rescuers arrived in time. The slow movement of Cyclone Inez, combined with torrential rains, created an extremely dangerous situation. Widespread flooding occurred, and the risk of landslides rose to a critical level. What makes the situation even more unusual is that such powerful cyclones are not typical for Sicily in May. This time of year is usually marked by warm, dry, almost summer-like weather. Algeria. Starting May 15th, heavy rains struck several provinces in Algeria, which had recently suffered from drought, causing widespread flooding. The province of Jelfa was the hardest hit. Torrents of water flooded residential areas and transportation infrastructure, causing significant damage. In some areas, the torrential rains were accompanied by large hail, further complicating the situation. Rescue teams evacuated several people trapped in flooded vehicles, quickly bringing them to safety. A bus traveling on one of the roads in the Jelfa district was overturned by a powerful flash flood. 4 people lost their lives in the incident, and 33 passengers were injured and suffered severe trauma. In the municipality of Selmana, a 13-year-old boy was injured by large hailstones. Unfortunately, despite all efforts, the child could not be saved. Argentina. Starting May 15th, a severe downpour struck the northwestern part of Buenos Aires province. The region, home to more than 6 million people, was affected. Over 2 days, some areas received more than 400 millimeters of rainfall, 4 times the average for the entire month of May. The prolonged rains caused unprecedented flooding, forcing the evacuation of around 7,000 people in several affected areas. In several municipalities, the school year was temporarily suspended. Transport services in cities and on highways were completely blocked. The region's corn and soybean crops suffered significant damage. In the cities of Salto and Rojas, industry and commerce faced heavy losses. In the municipality of Sarandí, floodwaters rose up to 2 meters inside homes, leading to total loss of property and livestock for local residents. 3 people are listed as missing after being swept away by a strong current while trying to cross a creek. According to experts, the storm was stronger and lasted longer than any previous ones. Vietnam. In northern Vietnam, torrential rains triggered sudden flooding and widespread landslides. The disaster caused severe damage. Homes were flooded and damaged. Bridges and sections of roads were destroyed. Agriculture suffered significantly. Crops were washed away and hundreds of livestock and poultry perished. Some communities were left isolated. On May 16th in Lai Chau province, a powerful landslide suddenly struck a hydroelectric construction site, resulting in tragic consequences. As a result of the tragedy, 5 workers died at the scene, and 4 others were injured with varying degrees of severity. On May 17th in Bac Can province, sudden flooding occurred. The water rose at an unprecedented speed. Local residents noted that never before had water levels risen by up to 1 meter in less than half an hour in the region's history. The disaster claimed the lives of 4 people. There are also people listed as missing. After watching yet another video about climate disasters, you might understandably ask yourself, why is such an obvious threat hanging over all humanity still being ignored? Why aren't urgent actions being taken? If this concern resonates within you, it means you are someone for whom conscience and the pursuit of truth are not just empty words, but values filled with real meaning. But haven't you noticed how, after just a couple of days, that sense of urgency fades away? What once seemed critically important and demanded immediate action suddenly feels distant, loses its weight, and your attention shifts to something else. Why does this happen? It's a mechanism of our psyche at work. When we encounter frightening information, especially about problems we feel powerless to influence, our mind tries to protect itself. It pushes the troubling information aside, whispering, "Later. Now's not the time. This doesn't concern you." And we give in to it. At the root of this psychological paralysis is fear. We fear change, fear the consequences, and especially fear taking responsibility for our own lives and the lives of those close to us. It's this fear that keeps us as distant observers instead of active participants. Yet, when disaster does strike, everyone asks the same question: why did this happen to me? The answer is simple: because at the moment of choice, to face the truth or to detach, you chose detachment. When there was still a chance to make a difference, you got scared, postponed action, and didn't share the crucial information with others. The problem isn't that solutions don't exist. Knowledge and technologies to combat climate change are already here. But to make it happen, everyone must take part. It's a personal responsibility for each of us. There is no one else. If we don't take action,